So as you know, we had a big windstorm that come through, I guess it was December 23rd. I was at work, we were without power for 2 days, all that, but a lot of trees come down, and I'm not quite sure what the maple woods looks like. I know at home we had 2 come down, took laterals down. Not a big deal because I was able to, where we run end hooks, I was just able to unhook the laterals, pull them out from underneath the trees, hook them back up, no real damage to anything. But the big woods has got at least 2 problems that I can see right from the road. So I gotta go get some fuel for the chainsaw because the government fuel that we're forced to run these days, small engines don't like that. So I've got to get some true fuel and then head to the big woods and see if we can at least figure out how bad it is in there. I got a message from a buddy that said that that storm was having more fun than a tornado in a trailer park with my tubing system, so that ought to be good. So this is the first thing I see when I come in from the road. You can barely see the building where the vacuum pump goes. This is a big hemlock top that come off right here, and it made a hell of a mess in here because, come in, here's my 2-inch vacuum line that goes down to the releaser, and it cuts over to the building on a separate wire. That got broke when this top come down. And then the power that we run down, the 110 volt for the releaser, it just plain tore it apart. So I don't know how that, I don't know. It's a mess here. And it just missed my building right there and the tank. So I got lucky. I mean, it's a small mess here, but nonetheless it's a mess, and it come off the top of this hemlock. I mean, it's all of 16 inches across right here on the butt. It made a mess. So get this cleaned up. I mean, you can barely even see the road, and it took down a small top off the one next to it when it come down. So it's going to be a pain. I thought about bringing the tractor over to move this, but that's just one more thing that I've got to deal with having over here. I may at some point, I don't know. We'll see how bad it is up in the woods, whether I really need the tractor here or if it's just this one. You come up, my pump out line comes up here, and it runs, and it's like 30 feet in the air up there, but it top come down here, and I think it just broke some of the posts is my hope, and maybe just pulled the side tie down. That's an easy one to clean up, but then from there it's a mystery as to what's really going on up in the woods. But let's get this thing cleaned up so that I can go see how bad it really is up in the woods. So that's all cleaned up. Now I had to move more of this one than I'd like to because this is the road I come down in with the 4-wheeler right from the main road. So I had to get it all cleared out, and I just cut those big pieces up into like 4-footers and flipped them out of the way. So not terrible. There's a bunch of trash on the ground, but I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time. I can get down through here. The building's not in bad shape, but the pipe is. I mean, the signal wire for the electric moisture trap has been damaged. The power wire's messed up. I'll probably have to splice in something on that, and then the rest of it's just a short piece of wire and getting it back in shape. But just a headache here. So on to the next one. So I don't have my four-wheeler today because my truck's in the shop because it needs a turbo. But after I figured out it needed a turbo, the radiator started leaking too. So I'm hitting home runs here with vehicles and everything. So I get to hoof it up in here today, which isn't terrible, but it's not the easiest. I didn't bring the Woods Boss because cutting trees, there's just too much going on, but I'm at the releaser building and everything up the line looks okay what I can see here, but the road going up, I can already see there's a bunch down. Now, one of the advantages I've got with running this blue pipe, and especially this time of year, there's no leaves on the trees. I can look up, this is on the B line at the end of it here, and I can see that until I get to the top of that knoll, all the laterals in the air, the mains in the air, so this one's good. And then when I go up the C system, I can look down from the top of it and get it up there rather than walking all the way up to walk all the way back. There was a couple trees down on B1, nothing really on B2 that I've seen so far. So I don't know, fingers crossed. It may not be as bad as I think compared to what I've already seen in here, but we'll find out. So this one here, this is some summer damage. This spruce tree came down. I was in here a few weeks ago and I was able to get this one cleaned up, but just not get the line put all back together. There's just a little bit of fittings I need to swap over and some posts to reset. But I'm glad I didn't get too carried away because this old maple split here and it probably would have messed it up more. This is that new section that I put up last year, and an old, I don't know, I think it's a maple came down that was half dead anyways, and it pulled off one of the laterals off the hook connector up there, but it also yanked the post out. So I'll come back and get that, but this is, the main's all up. It looks like it's just a few branches down, so I guess this one cleaned up, but I mean, I hate to say it, but this isn't too bad, knock on wood in here. So here's one that it broke, I don't know, 15 feet in the air-ish, but it's laying over two laterals. Somehow it got under one. I don't really understand how it got under one. I must have moved it and not, felt like cut. Oh, you know what? I was up here, I didn't have my big saw the other day. That's why I didn't do this one. So I got it out from underneath the top, but I'm gonna get it cut. That way it won't fall, because this thing will fall probably like Friday before Maple Sunday, and there'll be a leak up here and it'll be a major problem. So I'll get this thing cut right now and then it won't be a problem again. Yeah, that felt great. I cut it off the first one and the lateral jumped right up and hit me in the face and the nose, so that ought to leave an awesome mark. This is where the awesomeness is that my buddy told me about. You can see his shop right here, and it's open spot where the southerly winds that were here just blew right in and There's a handful down here. I mean, it doesn't look like anything huge, and the good news is the main line's still up. I can work with laterals. It's the mains that take time, so this shouldn't take too long, just a bunch. So I've got a couple of Widowmakers hanging here. There's one here and one over there that are actually, they're hanging over lines. Again, they're gonna come down, but I might just as well deal with them right now and then have it be done with, rather than, like I said, Maple Sunday. So I'm not really looking forward to it because I got these other two pieces of crap here that, well, they're no good either. Now this one's higher and it's really only hanging over my vacuum sensor line, but it's still, that one's gonna come down with snow on it, I guarantee it. Now here's like a, I don't know, probably a 12-inch pine, but it's dead. And it's leaning up in that tree hard, but not hard enough that it ain't gonna come down. And what happened is that the root ball started pulling up, but it goes over 4 or 5 laterals. So I'm gonna take this one down because I can guarantee that thing's coming down if we get any sort of heavy snow. Now the easy way, because my woods is set up the way I did it, I'm just gonna unhook these laterals so that when it comes down, they just fall to the ground. I go and cut the tree off of them, and I haven't damaged nothing. It doesn't mess up the main or anything. So this is why you run end hooks. It just makes woods maintenance that much easier. Now that didn't go completely as planned because it wouldn't roll out of that tree. Those branches on the right side of it were bigger and they just wouldn't let go and it wouldn't twist off. I tried cutting it at an angle to make it fall that way and it wouldn't do it. So then it fell back close to me, which I knew was probably going to happen, so I shot it out of the way. But there, that one's out of the way. I think it's all pretty little stuff and no real mains got affected, so bonus. That's it over here at the big woods. Almost fell on the ice. Getting that vacuum line back up and this pump out line, which really isn't bad. A couple posts up in there, and then this woods isn't in bad shape. Up on the A3 line, I do need to replace all the drops up there. That's this year's big plan, as well as walk all the laterals and check drops for squirrel damage. I did see a red squirrel in there and they're one of the worst. So probably get done here and then I'll head over and check the other two woods. And then not bad. So I'll catch you in the next one. Where my truck's getting worked on, that means I'm running around town in my car. And I just want everyone to know, this thing is not for sale. You guys can't afford this car. It's too good for anyone. I can't put a price on it.